welcome to Lifetime Partners, where we create relationships for life. My name is Letitia. If you don't know me, I'm a clinical therapist, education-based speaker, author, and coach. And today we have Dr. Dalal A Akoury, all the way from the USA. Originally, I think you were born in Egypt, but we will get to that. So that's beautiful. Well, how did we meet? Well, we met through a business networking group that we're still both very passionate and part of today through the JC Fox organization. Dr. I know you've been on and been interviewed, and you've been on so many different world stages, interviewing people like JC Fox, like Mark Wahlberg, John Travolta, Mel Gibson. I mean, the list just goes on. But really today we're here to talk about your work. And the work you've done within the pediatrics, within hematology and the oncology departments, really where you've taken that research now for cancer patients, but also in the anti-aging world, and just for preventative measures and metabolic medicine. So I'm really excited about that. I interact with a lot of doctors who are also inclusive of this type of work. So really today is I really want to get to know you a bit more, so the audience gets to know you a bit more. And then we can sort of kick off some Q&As after that. So how does that sound to you?
That was amazing, Letitia. That's
I'm
amazing.
thrilled to have you here. I really am. I've been, you've been in the circle, or I've been in there for the last 18 months, and I've been watching what you do. And so I'm really, really honored to have you here today. So you can take the floor, Dr. Dalal. And,
well, I want to tell you that I am as honored as you are and more, because you have given me the opportunity to make a difference, and you're helping me to get my voice amplified. I have a mission that I believe is so much bigger than I am. And that's why, despite my age, despite all the odds that happen to each and every single one of us, we all are exposed to a journey, and the journey is not always roses. But the obstacles is what gets us to where we need to be. So thank you very much for really being an instrument to echo my voice and make it so huge and amplified where it can reach every single home, every single heart, because my voice is about everyone. My voice is about you and me and my children and my grandchildren and your grandchildren. It's about health. And without health, truly, there is no true wealth. So wealth encompasses really health. Without health, we're not wealthy. Now, here's how my journey started. I was at 15 when my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I was the oldest of four, and I loved my dad. I loved my dad to the point that I wanted to be an engineer like my dad. But when I was 15, my dad had a tremendous amount of stress that happened. A certain time, about a year before he developed the pancreatic cancer. And it was hard. And it was the hardest thing that I had to go through. Because it was my entire dream come down to nothing. And the man that was so strong, so powerful, so impactful, so helpful, so well recognized and known, ended up being yellow, frail, sick, and in pain. And that was hard, because when I heard his voice change from being a strong man to a feeble voice, and I wasn't there when he passed, but I was the oldest of four. My mom and myself went to see my uncle, who had prostate problem, and we thought he had prostate cancer. My dad arranged for the trip at the time to go with my mom to check on my uncle. But when he got so sick, he said, why don't you take Dalal with you? And I came home to an empty place, no dad. But at the same time, I had power that I've never had before. And I said, no more. I will never, ever live until I conquer cancer. I'm never going to go, never going to die until I conquer cancer. I don't know how or why, but I also knew I am going to be in charge of my family, my mom and my two sisters and my brother. It took so much courage, like you have no idea. And now the engineer-minded person ended up being a doctor. I went to medical school and I got engaged. And I didn't really want to live in Egypt because I wanted to find a cure for cancer. So, pregnant, two kids. By the time I had my second child, just before he turns 1 year old, I went to the US, left my two boys behind, one almost two and one less than a year old, left before his first birthday. And I came to the US really excited about finding a cure for cancer. Went to medicine, integrative medicine, and went to medicine, traditional medicine, schooling, la, la, la. A year and a half later, my kids come and see me. I'm going to tell you, my father's death was horrible and painful, but staying away from my kids for a year and a half was, I think, the pain that I probably could not have stood. And it probably is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And because I was able to do this, very seldom anything hurts me anymore because nothing is more painful than to be away from them. So, but it was for my dream to make a difference, for my dream to make my dad proud, for my dream to make sure that no one is left behind anymore. No children suffer the loss of a dad that they love. So I went into traditional medicine. I've been pediatric oncology, came to realize that nothing has made a dent in cancer. And I saw the traditional medicine approach, which I am proud to be a traditional medical doctor. I'm proud to be a science-based medicine or evidence-based medicine doctor trained. So I'm not at all against conventional medicine. I'm grateful, but I wanted more. And because I wanted more, I wanted to make a difference. So I trained in anti-aging medicine, then I trained in functional medicine, then I added more um, biooxidative medicine, herbal medicine, homeopathy, energy medicine, which is really huge in my heart. Because in my mind, is aligning spirit, mind, body is key for health. And now, for the last 15 years, I've impacted many, 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 many lives, and I helped so many people get over cancer. So I feel great. I feel satisfied that I was able to do this. So I got massive results, but it's time for me now. But last year was a very hard year for me. 2019 was probably one of the hardest years in my life. I believe it was even harder than losing my dad, which was losing my brother, who was 4 years younger than I am, to malpractice of medicine. So I knew in my heart that my dad got me into medicine and my brother is keeping me into medicine until I'm gone. So when I saw him suffer, despite everything I tried to do when I left the US, took everything I need with me to help him, it was way too late. Took stem cells, took growth hormone, took all the IVs with me. I almost got stopped from entering the country in Egypt because of all the medical stuff that I had with me. I was able to be with him and I saw him die. But it was the most difficult time because he was breathing so hard that it was impossible to see, fighting for every single breath. It was the most painful thing. I took him off the vent and I kept pumping the machine myself because that was the only time he rested. And I worked on him and on him and on him and on him for as long as I could. But when he passed, I learned one thing, that we come on the planet with the breath and we leave the breath and go. So I knew that life is the breath. So breathing in and out is living every minute again. And I said I would never leave this planet until I raised the awareness. And because of you and many others who have been giving me been gracious enough to invite me, I'm here today to share hope, because I've seen hope in cancer. I've seen lots of cancer patients live way beyond the years they were expecting, stage fours and so forth. So this is my story, and I'm happy to say it, and I'm done my story. Happy to answer any question that you have for me.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are so many questions, but thank you so much for sharing. First of all, it takes, a bit of humility and understanding to share that story with us. So thank you. I appreciate that. Pain is never easy to share unless you're ready and willing. So it's lovely. Thank you. And they will both be safe and well. And like you said, we're all on this planet for the purpose of what that is. And, it's inevitable that we're born and we die. So it's just a part of life and what we're here to learn. So thank you for that. Secondly, your cancer treatment's kind of interesting. You said stage 4, so I'm kind of curious about that. I had a very close friend of mine who helped me through some tough times in my life, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer as well.
Oh, oh, yeah.
He's passed now, so it was tough. That was a few years ago now. But I mean, that wasn't always the first journey. I mean, I think I've always been interested in cancer research. Even in my first business, I always, when I gave for charity, it was always for cancer research. But it's only really been since I've been researching it myself over the last sort of 5 to 6 years that, like you said, we hadn't really got very far in normal medicine. We were just band-aiding everything. And even though we've had amazing success stories, it was what you're talking about and what you do and fasting and all of this, you know, cell regeneration and all of this new research that's coming through proving that that we can fight cancer. And the object really is to start as early as possible by one being aware, raising awareness, and raising our children and in an environment that's safe for them as well. So all of these things obviously affect us as human beings. But I suppose the first question for you is when you mention your new integrative systems that you have, are you talking about vitamin C?
What we use, um, you know, I love to talk about a holistic approach to medicine.
Mm,
I really, I love to talk about fasting. I love to talk about vitamin C. I love to talk about all these individual things, mistletoe, B17, all that stuff. But it really is way bigger than that.
yeah.
Understanding the entire system.
Mhm.
First of all, I begin on helping people restore spirit, mind, body. If your spirit and mind are not aligned, your body is in chaos. So you really need to really align that. So that is one thing I begin with, and I search deep and deep and deeper until I help people to find out if there is something that caused stress. Stress and cortisol and epinephrine and norepinephrine really turn on all the genes that are really pro-cancer genes and turn off all the anti-cancer genes, because we have pro-cancer genes and we have anti-cancer genes. When we are on the inflammatory pathway, we're on going to the cancer genes. When we're on the health parasympathetic pathway of hope, love, alignment, we are turning on some of those protective cancer genes against cancer. So we turn on the genes on demand. So stress helps us turn on genes. I'm not saying the genes are not there, and I'm not, but genes truly are not destiny. So we may have the predisposition, but we turn off that predisposition on by living a healthier life and turn it on by living the wrong life. So that's called epigenetics, or really, instead of calling it epigenetics and making it complicated, I would call it the effect of environment on our body. So if I'm exposed to a certain environment, it cultivates certain genes. If I'm exposed to a different environment, it cultivates different genes. So if I'm a happy person, smiling like I am, laughing, singing,
I love singing.
let's sing.
Right. Pardon?
Let us sing together.
Which song? What song would you like to sing?
You know, I sing.
I'm such. Pardon?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that?
I hope you'll sing is sway. Sway.
Way? Well,
Sway
you
was
can lead the way, and I'll back you up.
not the best. Sway with me. We taught our nature to sway with us. We sway with nature. Dance with me. We dance with nature. Sway with me. Let us sway. Right?
Yeah.
And then this is a life of energy that is healing. It's a dance. We dance with the environment. We dance with the talk. We dance with each other. And we love one another. So sway with the world. Sway when it's a bad time, let's sway with it. And when it's a good time, sway with it. So then we don't really stop. Boom.
Some may see that as flow, that's another word.
Flow.
Flow or sway. Yeah. Being integrative with everything around us. Well, I'm glad you raised that issue, because I actually had that question there for you about the mind, body, spirit connection. And so I have always been, a believer in positivity and how being happy, singing, sharing, giving words of gratitude, and just being grateful really do help to shift the chemistry in our brains. I mean, and we know it's called epigenetics, but it goes so deep, doesn't it? But the science and the biology behind it is quite fascinating, and I'm sure you know a lot about that, about how vibration and tone and sound can actually change the cell at a biological level. Is that correct?
Because the body is in sync with the environment. Anytime you try to stop that sync, there's a problem. But when you also expose the body to different environment that is not helpful. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A tiny bit of stress helps the immune system. A tiny bit of stress, it exercises different genes and makes things work better. But when the stress is too hard to the point that you break the whole thing, then a chaos begins and a survival mode starts on, and cortisol is everywhere. And every single cell in the body is now under the impression that there is a war. So they use a lot of energy to protect themselves. So that energy needs to be replenished. And one of the things I do is replenish energy of the body by using mitochondrial treatment. Mitochondria is the energy source of every body. Every single cell has a factory of energy. And I work a whole lot on restoring that NAD to NADH ratio to restore mitochondrial function. Fasting affects that. Ozone affects that. So a lot of things that I do is to restore that balance. Now, a lot of times, some people, the good thing is having someone like me to help people like you and others to work together in a dance. So I do my best in my area. You do your best in your area. The problem is we don't sway together as people in the healing industry. Everyone think a cancer patient is mine. I'm going to make money.
I know. That's why I get sad sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give them let's give them cannabis. Okay. Thousands of dollars, $12,000 are going on cannabis every year for a cancer patient. Okay. Then there's no money for a doctor like me. There's no, so if we
Yeah,
work together
yeah.
and each one of us put their parts and forget about the ego and say, it's not about money for me. It's, am I helping this person or am I not helping this
Yeah.
person? To do, including a person like me, for example. And I wish there's more. And it could be a person that trains for me that does not have to be just a medical doctor. It could be a naturopath. It could be even a chiropractor. But we need to know that each and every one of us have to stay in our lane.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, when we cross the lanes, accidents happens. And the victim is not us, is that person that we choose.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm glad you raised the issue because I think when I ventured into, this world 10 years ago, and, you get, you get released from college out into the real world and you start to see and you fit into where you fit in the whole medical system, you start to realize that that this is happening. And as I've said before, normally your journey when you're in this industry is that it takes you to where you're best suited and where you're needed within to help that client or patient or whoever you're trying to assist. And along with that journey is a lot of your own work that you learn and research and find out along the way too. So the more inclusive, and that's what I found, I think the more inclusive, the more I connect it with people like yourselves and other practitioners that are around me. If we can really join forces together to really do the best thing for that particular client at that particular time, they may only need to see me for some coaching or for massage just to help them, just to help their body come out of ease and to de-stress them. Then they've actually got to go through the next stage, which would be to actually have someone working with them on a deeper level, like yourself. Then they may actually have to then start having treatment. So it's like a whole package. And I think to me, that's the holistic viewpoint here, is it's not just, okay, let's get them signed up, doctor, they've got to go ahead see this, and they go through the whole system and they don't actually have any of that real connection. Because I think that's why they end up stepping out, is because they're trying to find connection, because it can become so clinical after a while.
So hydrous vitamin C is great.
Oh,
However, at times it may be dangerous because not all cancer respond to it. And hydrous vitamin C works in two different ways. One is an antioxidant, but in higher doses, it is antioxidant, which works like chemo. However, at times it stays antioxidant even at higher doses. So you've got to have someone who knows how to dance the dance, right?
and
And, and then having one person like you, for example, to help them eat correctly or create, a, a fasting system or help them to understand alkalinity, but
yeah,
coach them through that. Maybe you can also do the spirit mind body part, but somebody else can be doing maybe a little bit of acupuncture. I mean, you got all of us, but you got to have someone who understands it all.
yeah, I think that's the key too. Is there's obviously blood testing and things like that that needs to be involved when you're using vitamin C and those type of treatments. But I mean, even from my own point of view, even just to keep my own health up, I was taking initially I was taking 1,000 milligrams a day, and as you know, vitamin C, if it doesn't want to grab on, the body will just get rid of it. But once
And there's different kinds, like you have
yeah,
ascorbic acid
yeah,
versus ascorbate
right.
versus coming from corn
Mhm.
versus GMO versus coming. So the understanding even where the source of vitamin C is very important. So understanding the difference between ascorbic acid versus ascorbate, or when to use which, and who knows what. But the key is for us to really know when to stop and when to get help, because I've seen a lot of people. I'm happy to show you some pictures before and after if it's not too graphic, about some patients that I helped.
Yeah, that's that would be. Oh, I mean, the question, some of the questions here, I was going to ask you. You know, what would be probably one of your greatest achievements in helping in your patients? So um, we could just put a disclaimer before people watch this one, if you'd like.
I mean, I just don't want to put it too graphic. So I have somebody with AIDS that really looked horrible. I mean, the guy would not mind being on TV.
Is he
Uh,
here now? Have you asked? Is he here now with us still, or
or he's on Clubhouse. And he joined Clubhouse so he can talk to help a lot of people.
good?
But
If I
yeah,
mean, if I mean, I trust your I trust you have permission to do all this, but I would be interested. Of course, I would. That's what I do. And but with the interview, we could put a disclaimer just before people watch this particular interview, if that's what you'd like to
maybe
do.
we have to
I mean,
interview.
I I mean,
We have
I
to interview him.
your clinic, you're obviously dealing with a lot of very sick people as well, more so than regenerative. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do both.
You do both.
I love to do regenerative, but I really what people come from all over the country from
Because
for
you're a solution for them that they haven't found.
cancer, chronic diseases, and addiction.
Okay. Well, we
Lyme
look.
disease, dementia, seizures. Those are the people who come and see me.
Okay, so real neurodegenerative issues,
Mhm,
strong, like heavy addiction.
mhm.
Um, okay, and obviously stage 4 maybe have tried a lot of things and just had no joy. Wow. One question: how do you keep your energy management? Uh,
Thank you
what's
for asking this question.
yeah.
I think I really think there's two things. When you are number one, I don't let anything bother me. It could be the hardest thing that I'm handling. You can like my all my employees can quit right now. I'm still going to work. You can say anything about me. I'm still going to keep going.
Hmm.
You can hurt me. I once you have a determination and you
Your
have a
is higher
vision,
than you.
vision and you know it's going here,
Yeah.
you don't deviate. You don't go like that.
Mm.
Just know what my destination. This is the point I need to be. So whatever you do to pull me away, I keep coming. I mean, you can't hold me because I'm going to keep coming even with my head. I know this is where I'm going, and I'm going to stop people from not knowing about life and health. You're doing the same, but
Mm.
maybe I'm so pushed because of the pain I had. Maybe that pain may not be too hard for someone else, but it was very hard for me.
No, I
It
mean,
was enough to turn
I
me.
I
It was
think
enough to
it's like the question when you're asked, do you think you're born an entrepreneur or do you think you're made? It's sort of one of those questions. Do you think you? I think there is an innate ability or an innate part of you that what you went through was enough to really push that part of your spirit to really drive and to make a difference in the world. And I think it's that purpose that really drives us to
thank
the
you.
finish line, no matter what happens or what is thrown at us. Some people may say, well, don't you think if all these things have been happening that maybe you need to relook or
Yeah.
or change your pathway? And I'm like,
Sometimes it
well,
feels correct.
maybe sometimes it does look like that, but I think there's a deeper meaning behind it that no, sometimes I don't think it is. Sometimes things get in our way because they don't want us to get to that to find the solution or get to that end problem. And it's the ones that do push through that succeed. So yeah, that's nicely said there, Dr. Dalal. I would be interested in seeing some of your case studies, even if it's just one or two.
Okay, I'll show you.
Um,
All right, let me see. You probably have to allow me to share my screen.
okay. Because I think sometimes graphics is one way to really help people understand.
Okay. So you can see me all over the world, right? So here is when you allow me to share my screen, I'll get it. Promise.
Yeah, I trust you have permission. So.
Oh no, no. When you get me to the screen, I'm
Oh,
not sure. Oh, I have not shared my screen yet.
not yet.
Okay, I
So
will share. I'll share as soon as I see it's the right time. Okay. So this
share.
person,
I'll
okay, I'm going to show you.
go.
I'm going to share now, and then I'm going to stop sharing when I go to the next level. So when I go here, I'm going to go. So this gentleman came and saw me. This is how he looked. You see him?
Mm-hmm.
Very painful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how he looked.
So this is
This,
a type of tumor.
yeah, it's
Tumor.
a type of tumor,
Yeah.
and this is how his legs look,
And
right?
metastasis. Yeah.
All right. So let's go back. This is the same guy. I'll see you the same guy in a different year. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to show everybody else's picture. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second until I go back to another picture. So
It's
you,
quite a big metastasis type tumor.
yeah, and then I will show you this year if you wish. Would you want to see him this year?
Yes, let's see him this year.
All right, this year we'll share the screen. All right, here is this year,
Wow. Wow. Look at him. And it's all gone.
and this is 2020, and you saw the other one
Oh
16. See
yes.
the
Yeah.
leg?
So there was no invasive surgery, nothing. No?
See, this is left. This is what's left.
Oh
Is
wow.
that good? How
Yeah.
is that?
That's
Is
amazing.
that good?
That's really good.
Yeah. This is a very brilliant young man who trusted me,
Okay.
and I was very honored that he came to see me. So, I have others that are very graphic, like breasts. You're not going to see about a breast, but if it's very painful. I don't know if I should share.
Well, I mean, personally, I've worked with people with open heart surgery and things like that as well. Yes.
I don't know if your viewers can see it though.
Hmm. Maybe that the first one was enough. We can see the results. I mean, it's amazing.
It's just a blessing by
You can
God.
tell, yeah, you can
I
even
mean,
tell from
I
the
don't want. I mean, I
yeah.
have even more graphic than that, but I don't feel like
Maybe
it's.
that's enough for
Yeah.
the viewers. Yeah. Um. That's amazing. I don't really know what to say because it's working and people are adapting to it. So you had a
But
type.
this is why I feel I did my job for my dad. Now now it's to amplify this so that I teach nurses, doctors, people who work for doctors like me,
Yeah,
how to do. I mean, how could you create the whole system that is a holistic whole thing together?
yeah.
So all of us together, how could we do this?
Well, one is awareness. Two is just stepping up, like we are today. I was terrified when I was first said, why don't you do this and why don't you do that and why don't you get your story out there and why don't you share? And I was like, really? Like to the whole world? I don't know about that. But there is that, like you say, it's that drive. It's that we have to. We don't have to, but if we really want humanity not to be in pain, and I would love that. I mean, clearly it's what we have to learn. I know it's part of life, but if we can eliminate some of the pain that really is, I believe, not necessary, if they had the right help, if they had the right people in their life, if they had the right environment and all of those things. And you are so beautiful, Dr. Talal, by the way.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Then, if we can do that together, then, we can definitely heal the whole planet. So
The
it,
power
it
of
takes time
together,
and work together.
the power of togetherness is the biggest thing. The power of being together. It's almost like prayer when we're together.
I'm doing it right now.
So it's a power of togetherness, it's power of prayer, it's power of amplifying our voice, it's power of talking about fasting and taking it beyond. So I have a book called Cancer Beyond the Cure, because it's more important than the cancer. Is the cure is not the thing. Cancer is really just the messenger.
Yeah.
Cancer is coming to say, hey, listen, wake up.
Yeah.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of cancer is preventable. I mean, 90% of the cancers are preventable. And the problem is when people come and see me, it's after they've tried everything else. And the sad thing, that many of them go to Mexico. And when they go to Mexico, they go there for 3 weeks. They charge them a lot of money for 3 weeks, but then at the end, they don't finish up anything. In 3 weeks, you can't treat cancer. Now, I never tell my cancer patient they're cured because there's no cure for it. I tell them, you live 5 years, 10 years. As long as you keep the environment clean where cancer can no longer grow,
yeah,
you live.
Change your diets and make sure it's more alkaline.
Yeah.
Yep. And really it's an alkaline diet, it's part of it. Not to the extreme, but yeah, balance, as you know. Oh,
Balance.
Amazing. So your book, Cancer Beyond the Cure, is that would be on Amazon, correct? That's how people.
Yeah. It's not really printed, but I'm going to do it's a
work in progress.
No, it's already on Amazon and it's bestseller.
Okay.
But it's what do they call this? It's not the hard book. It's not a book.
Not hard copy yet.
It's not the hard copy. It's
okay.
What do they call it? Hold on. You want to see it?
Sort of like an ebook, sort of. It's in the ebook form, is it?
It's not. Yeah, it's not called ebook. I'll show you. You want to see it?
Digital format.
Okay, I'll show you the book. You want to see the book?
Okay.
I mean, we might as well.
Well.
All right, we'll go to Amazon. And
so people, while you do that, if people are wanting to come to you for treatment, is there a waiting list? How are they going to get in contact with you, Dr. Dalal? Apart from me, obviously, all my viewers here, anybody can reach out to me if they have family members, themselves, or anybody they know that may be struggling and not finding any solutions here in New Zealand currently, or anywhere else in the world, please do reach out to me. You can also DM me on Instagram. You can contact me through Facebook. There's my LinkedIn page that has my details. So I'm quite easy to get in contact with. But Dr. Dalal, is there a waiting list for you, and how would that work?
Well, they can always DM me on Instagram. They can always. I always have open hearts, open. I'm working on creating a digital program to help people as much as I can
online.
With this, let me share my screen.
I mean, is it something like, say, if they were living here in New Zealand,
they can come here. Do you see the book?
Oh, I do. There you are. Yep. Oh, yes, the Kindle edition. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm going to make a hard copy book.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
But the Kindle is really easier, but Kindle is easier, but that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 other books that are Amazon bestsellers.
Brilliant. Yes, because I saw your picture. I mean, I will raise the issue, but you were pictured with the famous Oprah Winfrey. So
I love her. I mean, she's a lovely lady. She's brilliant and she's caring and she's so sweet.
Yeah.
And she is really a, it's not a survivor. It's like from survivorship to thrivership. She's a thriver. She's someone who not let anybody define her. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants, and she
Awesome.
decided to get where she needed to be. So my other part of my life is I also want to encourage people to have to search deep enough and find their why and know that nobody can stop you if you know exactly what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone define you. And I want to help every man and every woman to be successful and not let anyone stop them. But they have to know who they are, what their why is, and then they'll find the how.
Brilliant.
I want to make people aware that they can stand up.
Well, I
They
think, yeah, and I think that when people have been through trauma or they're going through trauma, this is a very deep question that needs to be answered with most. And you'll find that they don't have a why or a purpose, and finding that is all part of the journey of towards health and wellness anyway. Yeah, so well done. But again, would you have it if someone was in New Zealand or anywhere else in the world, they would organise a Zoom call with you first, or would you need to have
yeah,
blood sent to you first before they travel to see you, or even
yes,
if they're in
absolutely.
USA and they wanted to see you, you know?
I think we need to organize a Zoom call with me,
Yeah,
or they can DM me and I can get them in touch with my patient coordinator.
good.
They can call me.
Yeah.
Uh,
They go
if
through bloods, they'd have to do all that type of stuff first to get that sent to you to see if they're the right patient for you. Is that correct?
and also we help them understand everything from I'm creating a program right now for people who cannot be affording to make all the trip because not it's not the trip the financial
Mm,
travel is not the only thing.
yeah.
The stay for weeks and months,
Uh,
the money is involved, but more importantly really is I can do some things, different levels of treatments, some with their own doctor, some with them alone, like give them the right food, the right supplements, the right medications,
mhm.
the right everything. That's one plan. Another plan would be to get their own supplement and send them the correct things. The
Mm.
third thing is for them to be able to come here. So we have levels
Yeah,
and of how can we help them to transition. My
transition.
dream at some point is for you and some others I can come and train people in New Zealand or in Australia and help them create clinics very similar to mine if possible.
Beautiful, because I was going the next question was is are you training junior doctors in what you do? Um,
I'm trying to do that actually. And right now it's just my main focus
just you.
because
Yeah,
I know I have results. I know I've done this for years.
that's right.
I know how to help people. I know how to be financially savvy to be able to be because I have to watch my own finances
Of course.
in order for me to help people.
Hmm.
So in the beginning of my journey, I wanted to do all of it free. Then I would be bankrupt and I would not even help one patient.
Hmm.
So to create the financial health of my clinic is key in order for me to propagate the treatment. Now
Good.
I'm at a stage in my life where I have enough results where we can get investors, where we can have doctors who collaborate with me so
Hmm.
we can create centers that are similar to this. I've created all the programs, all the things. So yeah,
Brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best. I feel that this is going to happen. I think you've got a big part to play in this. I've already in our group on Facebook, not Facebook, on Clubhouse, Steps to Success. I do would love to have you in there again. I think by connecting other doctors and you all must connect anyway on some level, but I hear your vision and I see what you're doing and the results that you're producing. So it's truly amazing. Thank you.
am very blessed and honored. If I can be of any service,
Yeah.
uh, by all means. Now, I kept my book at a very low rate, $1.90, whatever,
Oh,
in
okay.
order for people
Yeah.
to reach it, because I can't increase the price, but I don't want to.
No.
Um, there's no reason for that. So at least a lot of information there. We can also create um, um, a course based on the book, and we can come to New Zealand, and maybe have a retreat
That'd
to
be
about the book.
lovely to have a retreat here. It is something I've thought about over the last sort of 4 years myself. Having some type of, you know,
I mean, people who want
wellness resort type situation, but really with integrative and really high level, you know, facilities there for them. So for people, yeah, it would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Because we all have to travel to you. We always have
yeah,
to, when I reached out for my illness, I mean, I reached out to an American doctor too, because I just had no joy here. But we always come to America. We always look to you for these answers. So,
oh well, I mean, we are going to also help some. But I mean, well, lady, did you see my clinic?
no, I have not yet.
Do you want to see it?
Yes, please. That would be amazing.
Uh,
We'll just finish it off quite nicely, actually.
well, the last thing you want to see is how my clinics look, and from then we can, have another meeting to talk more about how we can make a difference.
Yeah.
But I want to show you my clinic if that's of interest to you.
Well, yeah, it is to me.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, we still will have you for, if you're a believer in the 120-year life cycle, Dr. Dalal, we'll have you for a bit longer yet.
Okay, so here's my clinic. Let's see my clinic. Okay. All right, I'll show you my clinic. So this is my clinic.
Oh, yes, no, I have seen this because I saw a video. Yeah, and I thought how amazing it looks, because it's it helps with the energy and brings joy and happiness, which we want people to be happy. Oh, look at this. It's really funky. I love it. Oh,
So that's my clinic.
beautiful.
All right. So here you got
Beautiful. It's great.
yeah, so that's my clinic.
I saw Dr. Fred in there. Oh, I saw Fred in there as well somewhere. No,
So
brilliant.
for really being interested in what I do, and if I could be of any assistance to you and to your audience,
Oh,
I,
definitely.
I want to be gratefully share my information.
Yep.
And gratitude is the mother of all attitudes. So, it's working on restoring spirit, mind, body, getting in a parasympathetic mode, breathe in and out, and relax, trust, and sway.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on today, Dr. Dalal. I'm very honored to have you here. I know that this will reach many, many people, and that is really the purpose of this today. And the more people we can help, the better. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, really appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll see you soon.